Hey y'all, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. I bet you recognize this guy. This is Ben at Renewed Homestead. His wife Denise is back there with Michelle, and they just got finished cuddling a baby little sheep out there. I'm going to show it to you folks. That is something you don't want to miss. But since we've been here last time, it's pretty astonishing what's been done from that time until now. So Ben, why don't you tell us what we're looking at right here?
Well, since you were here last, we picked up sheep and we had a baby. Those of you who have subscribed saw the birth and the one that we did lose, but also set up a sheep tractor to move along, and they use it all the time. It's pretty easy. I'm able to move it by myself. Move the fence every couple days, and 4-legged lawnmowers. I'm loving it.
Pretty cool rotational grazing operation going on right here. He and Denise are both making it all happen. You know, the cool thing is when I looked at the sheep, I was like, man, this is a pretty cool birth here. He looks just like you, bro.
Well, I know.
Okay, we're going to go look at some of the other stuff too, but the sheep, it's pretty awesome, folks. For anybody that's looking to get into this, they didn't just jump into it and figure out how to do it later. They did all the due diligence up front. And like us, when we first got into it, we didn't know anything about this until we actually put our hands on it. How do you think the learning curve has been going for you?
Fortunately, very good. We've not made too many mistakes. They've only been out twice. Had to chase them up the mountainside and back down again. But we're working on the fencing, on the permanent fencing around the border. So yeah, it's going well.
So just so I know, because I can relate to some of this. So they basically have an inner fence, and then you're going to have an outer fence that goes around the entire perimeter.
Exactly. Four lines of barbed wire fencing, and then we'll electrify at least two lines on it, and then they'll have the bigger area, but then we will contain them for moving in the smaller fence.
Cool. Let's go check out some of the other stuff. He put in a pretty cool chicken house, and they got some other additions, and they are all up and running. So anybody out there that's thinking about, hey, I don't know if I can do this, look, everybody started from the beginning, somehow, some way, and then here you are off and running. A little bit of training and looking things up on how to do it, and here you are.
And not on an inheritance or anything like that. I have a 9-to-5 job, work every day, come out here as soon as I can get off
That's
work.
right.
I run out the door, and I'm running till midnight.
Right, so both of you are pretty much doing that too. So you don't have a whole gang of people around here doing your work for you?
Nope, just Denise and I.
Oh, really? You sure? Because I hear neighbors over there, man. There's a whole lot of stuff getting done around here. Are you sure just the two of you people are doing this?
You know what? We have amazing neighbors. We couldn't be more blessed with our neighbors, but it's just us doing it.
Huh.
And I was telling Billy earlier, I literally run. I will go from the house, I will run to the shop, I will run back to the house. I don't have enough daylight hours to do it all, so
dude, it almost occurred to me to yell, "Run, Forrest, run," when I saw you going after a spatula or something, bro. But we just got finished eating burgers and all that other stuff. So yeah, we're having a wonderful time out here actually, we're too close, right? Shouldn't we be like 6 feet apart?
Oh, that's right,
and all that?
6 feet, yeah.
Yeah, so from now on, we just bow like Japanese.
And where's your mask, man? Told you don't come up here without our mask.
Hey, see the shirt? That's all you got to know. Hey, let's go check out something else. All right, here we are. We're in the inner sanctum of where the sheep hang out, which would technically be here, right?
Yep.
So I'm not going to bow or anything, but so this is cool, you know. Hey, look at this little crazy ram running around here named Ramses. Why don't we tell everybody out here, because we came up with a pretty complicated structure, but this looks like it gets the job done. And tell us, how did you build this thing, and what is it made out of?
You know me, I like to recycle all my materials that I've got here. We had a whole bunch of 2-inch PVC pipe, and still do on the side of the barn. So I've looked at all the other mobile chicken coops and things like that, and I'm like, okay, well, what's the best way to do this? It's scrap lumber. This stuff was headed for the burn pile. Our fencing, we used 3 pieces of cattle panel. Basically just attached it, and we originally, to keep the sides from bowing out, I had a board down low, but I found when the sheep were in there, if I tried to move it with them in there, it was tripping them up. So that's why it's elevated the board across, and that's just for side to side stability.
I think Ramses here is upset that he's not actually, look, you want to conduct this interview? I think he's motivated. It's all good, buddy. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. But then to move it, just You know, simply just a rope around it, and
It's kind of cool how you got this going. It's
now I do have a couple wheels I want to put on the front just to make this part easier because it gets caught up. But really and truly, just to move it, it's just leaning into it.
right.
And away it
So it's
goes.
just a giant skid, and you get it
Yep.
where it needs to go.
Yep.
So they're protected here at night.
Yep, they're protected from the rain, whatever. And then what I do is I throw a little bit of sweet feed in there. I try to move this to the edge of the fence where we're going with the pin. Put the sweet feed in, they go in. I shut the door, then I can move all the fencing, all I need to do, and then turn them out again.
That is so cool. I think it's a great, elegant design, just in the fact that you're using scrap materials, which these are things everybody could get a hold of, and at the same time, it's waterproof. I mean, they don't need a whole lot in terms of, you know, they can handle the cold, they can handle all those things. I love the fact that it's just easy to move, it's lightweight, and it gets everything done, and you did it for on the cheap. In fact, I dare say it's a lot cheaper than I don't know that we spent a whole lot of money for the one we had, but I guarantee people could put this together.
Yeah.
And it gets the job done.
And I take no credit for it. I'm just using other people's designs and kind of using the materials I had on hand. And
Here we are at one of the other developments. Now, folks, none of this stuff was here. The last time I was here, there was a pod,
two pods.
two pods sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the cool things is they've been very, very, very busy. And like us, I think they've kind of, people would have a hierarchy of needs in terms of, you know, getting the house squared away and then working on their food. But I think we kind of enjoy, we're kind of on the same boat where we work on the food and then we think about the other stuff after that. So what are we looking at right now, Ben?
It's our chicken coop, and it is mobile. We can pull it with the tractor. Denise wanted it up high enough that the chickens could get underneath, do their dust baths and things like that, and have a dry spot, you know, during the day. It's not necessarily a chicken tractor. It's mobile because we're not sure exactly where we want it to be. We're finding now, being this close to the house, there's a little bit of odor to it, so I'm not sure we permanently want it right this close to the house, but we don't know where everything's going to fit in on the property, so I imagine eventually it'll move again. But
What have we got in here? It looks like we got some pretty interesting ducks and
we got
a bunch of chickens.
6 anaconda ducks, and our neighbor graciously gave us 8 of his laying hens because ours are still little babies and probably won't be laying eggs till September, and they didn't want us to be without. So,
Well, that's pretty cool. You got neighbors like that.
they are amazing.
Oh man. So okay, so there's no problem. There's no race wars going on here between the ducks and the chickens.
No, not at all.
No Bloods and Crip action. No black on white crime up in here. Unless these are self-loathing ducks.
They're self-loathing ducks. They're still terrified of us, and they're terrified of the chickens. So.
But they still haven't taken to your pond over here, right?
No, we've chased them down there twice, and once I kind of scared them in, and they hit the water and almost ran across it, and thought I was trying to kill them. But
Well, you know, one cool thing about having the ducks in here is at least, you know, with our ducks, when we had them, they would always lay eggs in mysterious places, like on the edge of ponds. And I got pictures of Michelle actually in the pond trying to get the duck eggs out. Like, you want my eggs? You're going to go in after it. One cool thing about keeping them in a structure like this is that you can find their duck eggs if you need to.
yeah.
Eventually we'll have, eventually there'll be tractors, but these
Yeah.
chickens here, because they were used to free ranging, they free range a lot. We didn't want to put them in a tractor. The ducks will probably end up, or at least their offspring will be in tractors, and then we'll put the chickens that are in there will be in tractors, just so we can kind of control where they are. But these guys were never in that kind of environment, so we've kind of just left them for the most part to free range.
That is cool.
Our ducks have not started laying eggs yet, but when they do, then yes, that'll be a lot more convenient.
Well, y'all are clearly permaculture practitioners because I'm seeing things in zones where they actually ought to be. You know what jumped out at me at first? There was a person, Michelle and I both know, that put their chicks in zone 5, which means at the top of your mountain is where he would have put those chickens.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out well. But I noticed you got your garden like right up the hill by that truck, and you have these guys in close proximity.
Yep.
I'm taking that's by design. That's not an accident.
Yeah, I know a guy that's pretty good at this stuff. That came out and gave us some recommendations before.
Oh, well, I don't know who that might be. But anyway, if you do come across a permaculture pimp daddy, let me know.
Yep, I will.
No, but anyway.
We actually came in and tilled the soil first, but that was because we wanted to level it out. This is the first time we're gardening in this area. Then we laid down the cardboard and lots of mulch. and
So more of a back
Compost.
feeding.
compost and
Compost.
Yep.
Okay, so it's basically a sheet mulch up there, and what's the plan for that? You're going to put plant starts into them, and
Yep. Yeah, we got a whole bunch ready to go if we just stop getting these 39-degree nights here in
Oh, my
western North
goodness.
Carolina.
yeah.
Sun's
Well, there's
going down,
also,
it's
we'll be
getting cold.
planting plenty of seeds. And we got watermelon and
Oh, yeah.
cantaloupe and tomatoes and peppers and, you know, squash and, you know, the typical strawberries.
And the
but-
cool thing is, let's
Oh, no,
all
it's
come
okay.
together.
It's okay,
Come
it's
on.
okay. No, it's okay.
You keep talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know because because most of the garden plan I've kind of been doing.
Right.
You've been kind of doing, and I've been kind of doing more planting.
I know. You say go forth, and I run.
See, I'm the de facto marriage counselor right here, caught in
right.
the middle of all this.
That's right.
So,
But no, so yeah, so the garden is, I kind of pulled the seeds out. I've even got a spreadsheet of what we're going to be growing this year and what seeds we are not growing. And then I'm going to put notes in to say what grew really well, what didn't, what worked, what didn't, so that way we can take notes next year. But that all up there will be most of the summer garden. And then we have a greenhouse that we'll be putting in by fall. And we're going to put a lot of our fall garden, like spinach and kale and others in the greenhouse.
And to the other end of the garden, we've got our strawberries and raspberries and blueberries.
well, it's amazing how much y'all got. So this is here, that's here, and I see in the distance bees. As you can tell, those are bee boxes behind us. But what I thought was cool is, why don't you tell everybody where you got your training from? You didn't spend a lot of money, as I understand it,
Right.
going through, let's say, some $300 course. How did you go about getting your training?
I had mentioned one time that I'd like to get bees eventually, and my neighbor came over and said, hey, I just signed up for a class at the community college. It's 3 hours a night, Thursday nights for 7 weeks, and it's $40. Like, let's go. So,
Really?
get a chance to talk to him, chat about things, and it was a great class, and the amount of information in 3 hours in one night was almost too much to take in, and then over 7 weeks. So, I had mentioned in one of my other videos, some of these courses that are offering, 2 hours of training, there's a lot more to it than just what you're going to be able to absorb in those 2 hours.
Right. So, folks, key here is that you're going to find out the most valuable instruction you're ever going to find is from the people in your local region. And just about every single county in America has a place where you can go find it and join a bee club. I mean, these people are so passionate about it. A lot of small clubs like that they're so passionate about it that if they see somebody new to that and they demonstrate some interest, they will go out of their way. And I would imagine that you have acquired some of your first bees here through that club.
Well, through the class, one of my teacher's former students had passed away, and his wife reached out to him and said, I am not into keeping bees. I've got all these bee boxes, and they offered them to the students, so I picked one up.
Cool. Well,
And
folks,
you were talking about mentorships.
Yeah.
If you're in Western North Carolina, they do actually offer, basically they offer a bee mentorship, and you actually have an assigned person, and they'll come out and they'll help you with any problems and things like that. So
that is really cool.
Yeah.
But folks, when I saw his YouTube video, and by the way, you want to check him out at Renewed Homestead, because it's one of those really cool examples of somebody taking something that was not in the best of condition, and the progress that's being made is extraordinary. And the best part about it, at least from where I'm standing, is that they're just not going to take anything and throw it in. It's done in accordance to the principles of permaculture, and that's what I found so fascinating. And another cool thing, folks, you may be looking right past it. When I saw him do the video on these bees, was the stand that they're on. So Ben, why don't you tell us what you did concerning the stand, because I'm going to copy it. I just want to make sure credit's given to whom it's due. And I thought it was great. Why don't you tell everybody what this thing's made out of?
Well, I know it looks a little wonky. Those are black locust posts. They were actually, I'd pulled them out of the stream down there. They'd been in there for years and years, and still very solid. And that's what a lot of the old fence posts are made of out here. And they'll last 50, 100 years. So I used those. I know they look a little off kilter. The platform is level, but there's a lot of rock in this area, so they had to go in at a bit of an angle, but very solid. I could jump on that thing and it's not going anywhere.
What I love about it is not only, if anybody's ever watched some of our videos, you saw how we run our chickens. Well, I can't think of a better way, a better contraption, a better setup where you could easily be a chicken, get under there, handle whatever issues may be going on under there, keep the grass mowed. All that stuff just became a whole lot easier by looking at this platform and using the black locust posts. that's a win-win. I don't see how you lose with something like that. It's a great design.
Well, thank you. And something else I learned from the bee class was we do have skunks out here, and skunks like to get there. They don't want the honey, they want the bees. They'll sit and eat your bees as they come out the hole. But by building it up on a platform, skunks have to reach up. That exposes their belly, they get stung, and they go somewhere else to find their food.
Right, so I'm learning some cool stuff out here too, folks. So I can't wait. This is one of the cool things about visiting friends, is that I'm learning some things that I didn't know, and it's cool because I can now retrofit what we have going and apply some of what I've learned here today. So I can't thank you enough, Ben. So folks, check them out at Renewed Homestead. Ben and Denise, you know, becoming wonderful friends, and we got some cool collaborations that we're going to do in the future, but I can't tell you about that right now. So folks, check them out, check us out, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell everybody you know about what's going on and the people I'm running into and the wonderful things they're doing. So until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion.